Salario. Salario. All right, this is a very good morning to you, 17th September 2024. Good morning and welcome to KUTV Kenya. If you ask a Kenyan who sang that song that came off air, they'll tell you it's Nameless. It doesn't mean it's by no one, but that's Salary by Nameless. From way back, a good throwback to bring us on to this show of business and all about the money, all about the salary. Atakama sivai tai, mimi nimevaa lakini madharau haifai to anyone. Go out there, earn your bread, earn your living, earn your salary, your profit in business, in the works that you do. May you see fruits today and for the rest of the week. But first, welcome to Biashara Tuesday. I'm glad to be back here after a short hiatus. Last week on Tuesday was held down by my able colleague Ojwang Mariam, holding down a whole show of Biashara Tuesday. I'm glad that he was able to step in there. And now we're back to me here throughout the show from 7 to 10 a.m., bringing you the best of business from all around the world and, of course, specifically what is happening within our borders here in Kenya. Biashara Tuesday is where I do a very in-depth analysis of the happenings from the world of politics to business to technology to sports, as much as or as far as it's affecting your income or has an impact on the economy. We'll make sure that we are shining a spotlight on that corner and seeing if there are opportunities that you can take advantage of, if there are threats to your living that you can be aware of. All of that discussion is happening here. So later, there's also a bunch of people who are showing up on the show, guests, conversations that we have from the newspaper review, also to business conversations. I'll be letting you in on the details of the guests that we have here on the show. But first, before I give you information on my end, please also do let me know where you are tuning in from, who you are, who you'd like to shout out on this show. Tutawaamsha pia, and if you have any comments, any questions, feedback, we'll be able to tackle it here on the show. As I said, conversations are happening later, from business to the newspaper to politics. I am sure we are going to tackle so much that has happened from last week. Every day is a new day of activity, whether it's on the international front or here locally. So even before the dust settles, I had coverage of what business information will be relevant for you, but then the next day is something new, the next day is something new. So I'm going to try as much as possible to cover this, and I'm sure this is information that will show up in the newspaper review section later on. Most of these stories are definitely developments that the country is keeping its finger on to ensure that we have all the details correct. Adani Group. Umdanie Sie Adani ni Adani. It happens that even before we are done with the discussions on Adani Group and JKI deal takeover, we now have a new deal between Adani and the Kenya Transmission Company, KETRACO, who have now signed a deal with Adani Group and Africa 50, which is a subsidiary group of the Africa Development Bank. So Africa 50 and Adani have taken over a transmission or electricity transmission contract, which will be running for the next 30 years. So this is yet to be signed actually, but the discussions is on its final stages, according to CS Opio Wandai, who was showing up in Parliament to answer questions from members of Parliament on the exact details of the stakeholder agreement of this power deal. Adani and Africa 50 are going to be running this for 422 kilometers high voltage power lines for the next 30 years. They have been awarded a contract that is worth $1.3 billion US, and they're seeking to raise 650 billion Kenyan shillings for the next 30 years from Kenyans. So this is going to affect the amount of money that you're paying on your power bill. Electricity prices are likely to go up, given that Adani and Africa 50 have to recoup the amount of investment that will have put in the upgrading of these power lines. Remember the recent nationwide blackouts that we've been experiencing. Many Kenyans coming out online to ask, is there something sinister happening? Is there something on the down low? Are there deals happening behind closed doors? There it goes. Two nationwide blackouts later, we have a deal between Adani, Africa 50 and KETRACO to ensure that we have stabilized power transmission, and according to the CS there, that we will not experience any more of those regular blackouts. So we are going to have a discussion on that, exactly how the details of that agreement are looking like. more on deals that are happening between Kenya and others, or public-private partnerships, or even government-to-government partnership. The recent diplomatic spat between President William Ruto and Germany, because of that declaration of exporting labor from Kenya to Germany, which the president quoted to be at 250,000 Kenyans, a number which has been refuted, of course, by the Immigration Department of Germany, a statement that I'll be reading later on. But yesterday, showing up in the media to defend this is the PS for Immigration, saying, regardless whether it's 10,000, 250,000, 5,000 people, there is a deal between Kenya and Germany to ensure that we are exchanging labor and that we are sending our skilled force to that nation, which has an abundance of opportunities and jobs. So Kenya and Germany, the exact details of the agreement, of this new agreement, which is focused on labor mobility, vocational training, and worker farewell, looks like this in summary. The agreement aims to strengthen bilateral relations and offer new opportunities for Kenyans in Germany. The agreement covers labor mobility, that is the movement of people from Kenya to Germany, apprenticeship, ensuring that you're being tagged to the right skilled people in Germany, student training and employment, all of this while ensuring the welfare of Kenyan workers. Apparently, it aligns, according to this document, with the UN Global Compact for safe, orderly, and regular migration. Kenyans can also explore temporary migration for vocational education, training, and seasonal work in Germany. Another important aspect of this deal is that there is cooperation on consular services for Kenyan workers and students, ensuring that their welfare is being taken care of in Germany. The agreement emphasizes on ethical recruitment practices, protecting workers from forced labor, exploitation, and human trafficking. The sentiments of Germans, the native German citizens, has been expressed and viewed here on social media platforms, paints a very scary picture of the welfare of Kenyan citizens who are likely to take up these opportunities abroad. So how safe are we in this time when there's a wave of anti-immigration happening in Europe, in the places such as the UK? There have been protests in several cities in that country decrying that immigrants have invaded their space, taken their jobs, and that there's no longer a native setting in the communities that they live in. In other places such as Sweden, immigrants are being offered money, return back to their homes. You're being offered an opportunity to go back home before things get bad for you. So this anti-immigration wave, I'd love to pick brains from the New South Institute sometime in the future to see exactly what direction this offers, given they've been having an analysis of the governance frameworks that are there put in place in Kenya and other nations when it comes to matters of migration. So that's a discussion that you're definitely having with Ojwang Mariam and Michael Oyaro here on the show when we look at the newspaper later on and see the headlines. That diplomatic spat also brings me to a new conversation which is happening here in Kenya that involves President William Ruto, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. A new wave, or politics is back in churches full swing. This is after politicians avoiding the pulpits and offering their statements in churches after that wave of protests from June 25th to till right about a few weeks ago. Now, politicians could be seen all over the weekend giving their statements, especially Mount Kenya politics, which is now taking center stage in all discussions. The rift between President William Ruto and Rigathi Gachagua, and also an additional player in this conversation being CS Kindiki, the CS for the Ministry of Interior, and a river, the restoration of Nairobi River, which has also brought in a lot of politics, different views from President William Ruto and DP Rigathi Gachagua. We'll have a look at all of that, but remember, this is a business show, so most importantly, we're having a conversation on the economy, the direction of business of the Republic, and how politicians are being involved, or what kind of policies are being made in Parliament and by the government to ensure there is a safe and conducive environment to to conduct business in the country. The shilling continues to hold its ground steady against the dollar, currently at 129 Kenyan shillings to 1 USD. That's among the best we have done in the past few months, so we'll be keeping our tabs on that. And also other important information in the world of financial markets, Bitcoin rates, stock market, where can you invest, where should we avoid in the next few weeks. That is conversations, or those are conversations which are happening here. So ensure that you let me know where you're tuning in from and what you'd like to hear. Definitely we will highlight that. We have a lot of time all the way to 10 a.m. so don't touch that dial. Enjoy the show. Right about now, having a look at the roads, what is happening out there, and what important bits of information you should be aware of as you navigate the very tricky Kenyan roads out there, courtesy of you and other platforms that I'll be informing you on. So don't go far. Here are the traffic updates. Right, this is the information you should be aware of this morning in terms of traffic updates. Looking clear actually on most roads this morning. Ni mid-month, fuel imeisha, watu ni kama wamerudisha gari kwa nyumba, but as you're going out there, let me know how the road you're in looks like as of this moment. NTSA Kenya is informing parents, caregivers and school management to have a role that they have a role in ensuring the use of designated crossing points when they are taking kids back to school or to school. So use zebra crossings to cross the road, or designated crossing points which have marks for children crossing. Motorists also have a role in ensuring the safety of the children. Watch out for them. Slow down around schools, or even if it's in areas that are not designated, where you are aware that there are schools nearby and children could be crossing. Cross the road only when it's safe as well. This is for those students and children who are going out there to school. So that's the road safety information that I have from NTSA Kenya. I have something for you, for those who are navigating the Kenyan highways, and this from courtesy of Biashara on Twitter, or X, the platform formerly known as Twitter. So classification of roads in Kenya is the information I have for you this morning in our continued mission to have you informed on traffic rules, traffic regulations, and highway markings, especially in major cities in Kenya. So have you ever wondered what A2, A1, B6, C15 initials that you could see on the overhead road signages in most Kenyan roads stand for? So if you are along Thika Road, you've seen the A2, A1, A something markings, and the B6, C15s, yeah? So roads in Kenya are classified according to their purpose and surface conditions. So these initials stand for the following. Class S, the highway that connects two or more cities or provide a bypass through a city and carries safely a large volume of traffic at the highest speeds of operation. Connecting two or more cities or providing a bypass through a city and carries large volume of traffic and at the highest speed of operation. These are named S1 all the way to S4. That's Class S, highways between cities and the ones that have bypasses with large volume. Class A, those are international trunk roads, link centers of international importance and cross international boundaries or terminate at international ports or airports. They are named A1 to A14. So you've definitely seen those to Naivasha, to Nakuru, or to JKIA. That's the international trunk roads, which are of importance, and they terminate at the international airports and ports. That's Class A. Class B, that's national trunk roads, which link international or link national important centers, and they're named B1 to B153. So these are between counties especially, or provincial headquarters. Those are Class B roads. Class C roads, the ones that provide important centers to each other, or higher class roads like districts, and these are C107 all the way to C115. Class D, we have secondary roads, which link locally important centers, yeah, or to other important center or higher class roads. So zile zinatoka kwenu mtaani to the major highway, to Thika Road, from Ruiru, from other centers, locally important centers to each other. These are Class D roads. Class E roads are minor centers, that is ndani huko kwenu, ndani ya estate. Those are Class E roads. And then we have special purpose roads, which are government roads, rural access roads, sugar roads, tea roads, wheat roads, those which serve very special purposes. So you're very aware of that now, and go out there and use the correct road. Ukataza kutumia mahali, beware that you're not supposed to be on that side. That's the information I have for you in terms of traffic updates and traffic information that's relevant for you. And then we will be, of course, giving you more information as you go on alternative routes as well. If you're out there and there's traffic build up, traffic snarl up, we're on a traffic situation, there's an accident, there is a traffic officer ambaye anahitaji kuwa shamed, there's someone using the road like it's not supposed to be, please give us that information as we go on with the show. We'll make sure that you are relaying it to the rest of our audience. Don't go far. This is still Biashara Tuesday. I have more information for you coming up on the discussions that we have prepared for you, and also the most important updates in the world of business. Don't go far. Right. So here this morning we are discussing a very key issues that involve the public-private partnership between Kenya and Adani, but also more important information from the world of business and the economy. But before that, there's going to be a sit down here in a short while with Omni People. I want you to Google omnipeople.africa. omnipeople.africa and have a look at this business organization that is focused on software infrastructure and hardware distribution for your business needs. They are doing this all across Africa to ensure they're providing solutions which are relevant for businesses through their different partners and reliable networks. Their head office is in South Africa, but they have expanded all throughout the continent, and they have offices including here in Kenya. I'm sitting down to understand their mode of business and also how they're important for you as a small business, as a large business. What kind of services can you get from Omni People? Omni People, OMNI people.africa. I'm sitting down with Ibrahim Musungu, who is the group marketing manager of Omni People Distribution Africa. As I said there, it's an entity which is focused in software solutions and hardware distributions, which provide solutions for businesses. So what kind of solutions are this? They range from, according to what I'm seeing on the site, from security all the way to events and others, which they will be letting us in on in a short while. If you have questions on that, please do send them through to the social platforms that we have mentioned there earlier. Later, I sit down with my colleague Ojwang Mariam, the host of Art and Culture Monday, alongside Michael Oyaro, to have a look at the papers, the most important developments, especially their insights into what we can predict for the next few days and next few weeks, as according to the headlines. So grab yourself a copy of the dailies, whether e-paper or a physical copy. We'll be joining you on that discussion in a short while. So let me take a break and grab a cup of coffee, cup of hot water, then I will be back with those discussions and much more. The hashtag to use, remember, hashtag Biashara Tuesday. Tag me on my personal handles at Richard_Okenye. Don't go too far.
community rooms and opportunities are scarce, it's time to break from the barrier and unlock your full potential.
We must live within our means. We cannot spend money that we don't have.
We will explore the fascinating world of investment, trade secrets, and entrepreneurship.
Sai challenges ziko mingi sana. Parking ya mzigo imekuwa mbaya. Unaweka pesa yako inakataa kurudi.
Whether you're a seasoned investor or just starting out, we've got you covered with invaluable insights to help you succeed.
Now, this year we have seen a rebound in the economy, which is well above the global average of the 3%.
Join me, Anyango Sylvia, every Sunday and Monday on KUTV News at 9, and let's turn your dreams into reality.
Ni kaunti maarufu kwa kuzalisha maziwa na ukuzaji wa majani chai. Pia, serikali ya kaunti inawahimiza wakulima kukumbatia mitindo mingine ya kilimo kuzidisha mapato.
Kama kuna kikundi moja inafanya biashara ya kuuza kuku, hao pia tumewafadhili kuwafunza jinsi ya kuhandle zile kuku kwa sababu wanaleta kwa wingi.
Haya yote tunakuletea katika Boresha Kilimo, toleo la kaunti ya Bomet.
Kilimo ni nguzo kubwa kwa ujenzi wa taifa.
So my name is Jakub Petri. I'm Associate Professor in the Institute of Philosophy of Jagiellonian University in Krakow, Poland. And I'm the main coordinator of the Cafe project, which is being here hosted by Kenyatta University.
My name is Ewa Hudoba. I am a project manager in this consortium. Keep watching cutting edge research at Kenyatta University Television.
Maelfu na maelfu ya wahamiaji wakiwa na watoto kutoka nchi za Amerika ya Kati wanaendelea kuwasili kwenye mpaka kati ya Marekani na Mexico.
But folks, I'm going. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Ni habari kutoka pembe zote duniani.
Pepopa si vuguvugu. Pepopa ni idea.
Tazidi ananyonya, hanyonyi vizuri, anakuwa hayuko comfortable.
Jeshi la Jamhuri ya Kidemokrasia ya Kongo linapambana na waasi wa ADF.
Kwa sasa wanatoa wito kwa mashirika, makampuni na vile vituo vya uchukuzi.
Mambo mengi yatakwenda kama yalivyopangwa.
Hapa ni kuna mmoja wa viongozi wa chama cha wavuvi katika eneo hili.
Zaidi tunajaribu kuwapa chanjo ili ina boost ama inanyanyua kinga ya mwili, hiyo inaenda kupelekea kupambana na virusi.
Ni duniani leo, Jumatatu mpaka Ijumaa, moja kwa moja kutoka VOA Swahili, Washington DC.
Are you an aspiring media practitioner, a graduate, or you just want to advance your skills in television production? Then welcome to Kenyatta University, where education meets innovation. KUTV, the premier university television station in Kenya, is now offering short courses in TV studio, field technical operations, and video editing. Through these courses, you will acquire hands-on skills on camera operations, media production, lighting techniques, audio-visual editing, and sound and visual control, and how to operate key equipment in modern TV control room. Enroll today at KUTV and discover your full potential in cutting-edge TV broadcasting. Graduates of these courses will receive professional certificates. For more information, visit our offices at KUTV Studios or call us on 020-870-4252 or 020-870-4255 or SMS us on 0739-110-544. KUTV, a new experience.
Access to knowledge, solution to an
your property, intellectual or material.
This and more only on Law Matters.
A professor in cultural studies from Academy of Art, Poland, Polish Society for Aesthetics, and this is Cutting Edge Research at Kenyatta University Television. Keep watching Cutting Edge Research.
Is it your first time?
Yeah, I'm kind of scared, but I can do this.
Yeah.
Mess with me. Yeah, let's do this, man.
The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom.
The Bible says, when he spoke, then he spoke a parable to them, that men always ought to pray and not lose heart.
Christ says, I stand in the door and I knock. Whoever hears my voice and opens, I will dwell with him.
Like the moon, I will fade, but like the star, I will rise again. And though I fall, be rest assured that I will rise again.
Go to the hospitals, tell them that God will heal them. Go to the prisons, tell them that they'll be free. Go to the crusades and tell people that Christ is coming, and sooner than the word itself, the second advent is imminent.
Are you healthy, or rather, do you maintain a healthy lifestyle? According to WHO, health is regarded as a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease. Welcome to Focus on Health, a show on all matters health, wellness, and lifestyle. On this show, we cover a wide variety of topics inclusive of, but not limited to, dental, optical, mental, reproductive health, and so much more. Join me, Joy Bofenda, every Thursday at 7:30 p.m. on KUTV for compelling insights and discussions on all matters health. See you then.
Focus on Health, your weekly dose of health and wealth information on KUTV.
From the hospital corridors, we bring you experts to discuss issues affecting your health, from diet to mental health. The familiar and the ignored are both put into perspective. We then dive into the environment and look at the effects of climate change and its solutions. Join me, Mutegi K. Martin, every Friday at 9 p.m. as we learn on how to better our health while taking care of our environment. Only on KUTV.
Get ready to embark on a journey into the exciting world of technology as we uncover the latest trends, interview top thought leaders, and dive deep into the world of tech like never before.
Currently, we are facing the challenge in terms of finance. It requires one to move from different counties because we really need a large data set for our model to be more accurate.
In this new and exciting series of the Technovation Show, join me, Yvonne Kimuma, every Monday 8:30 p.m. for a fun and thrilling experience as we explore the cutting-edge developments, meet visionaries driving change.
Somebody who is in the underground mine doesn't know the presence of those gases. So there are a lot of gases involved. There is methane, there is carbon monoxide, and there is also hydrogen sulfide. These gases actually, they are very dangerous and they are very toxic.
and discover the endless possibilities of the tech world.
All right, welcome back to Biashara Tuesday. We're glad that you created time for us here for yet another exciting day on your morning breakfast television show. This is Rise Today, so when you're tweeting out there, make sure you mention Rise Today and your Ojwang Mariam pia sikie vizuri sana. Mention you. We do this show on Monday and Tuesday. So Monday is art and culture, today is business. That's why the conversation that's going to go down here in just a few seconds is on business. And I have Omni People with me here, or is it Omni Person? Because it's just one of the people from Omni People. It is the group marketing manager. That is Mr. Ibrahim Musungu from Omni People Distributions Africa. You can check out their website, which I have had here open on my tab, omnipeople.africa. So let's invite the Omni Person to introduce himself, and then we get into the conversation of what we have prepared here for the day. Mr. Ibrahim.
Thank you.
Karibu show.
Thank you, Richard.
Asante for creating time.
Thank you.
Please do justice to that intro, and then let us in kidogo tu hapo mwanzo. Omni People is kuhusu nini?
Okay. Yeah. So thank you, Richard, for inviting me this morning. It was an honor to be here and talk about Omni People and what we do for the entire of Africa. My name is Ibrahim, as Richard said, and I'm the group marketing manager for Omni People Distribution. At Omni People, we are concentrated with people and how they can be able to mutually connect their culture with the emerging technologies. So our focus, as we are called Omni People, is on the people. I mean, is on the end user, the consumer of anything that we are doing. And as we are looking at how the world is going, we are seeing a number of technologies coming in. We are seeing a number of advantages that are coming from the tech world. So it is important, or rather it's a critical age at this moment to discuss some of those things and how our people can be able to benefit from them. Some of them, they are not really ready to receive it, or they have not yet exposed themselves to them. But it's something that other people are doing, and I believe we as Kenyans and we as Nairobians, we can be able to also invest in them. That's why I am here. That's why Omni People is here.
All right.
Yes.
It's an interesting point you've raised there, which has made me think that normally when you speak about industrial revolutions in the past, it seems that Africa was mostly left out, yeah? The first, second, third, all of them happened out there. And now this one seems like we can get it right. But even so far, other nations have advanced in emerging technologies. When we see the latest launches in AI, or even in software or in hardware, if we're speaking of NVIDIA, all these are seem so far off away from our continent. Do you think there's a chance that we can catch up, actually, given that you're operating all across Africa?
Yes, there is a very big chance, because you see, Africa, when you look at when you are outside Africa, when you look at Africa, you find there are so many opportunities that are not yet tapped. And when you look at how we are born or how we are brought up, there's that demand to know more. There's that demand to try to find what else can I do. I really like how Kenyans we are. We try to compete. We try to, we try to find how can I be extra than you, Richard. I might have a latest iPhone, and when I sit to you, I'll feel like I'm quite extra. when I am a business owner, I have the right tools, and you don't have the right tools. Maybe you're still using Excel and spreadsheets. And for us, we already have streamlined businesses processes. We have the technology with us. You can never compete with us. So you'll find that there are so many businesses who are, there are so many investors who are coming to Africa to tap into these advantages, to tap into these opportunities that are in. But when you look at Omni People, Omni People is purely African.
Okay.
Yeah, Omni People, with our branches in Zimbabwe, Zambia, Botswana, Namibia, and the larger part of SADC and West Africa, we understand the culture about Africa, and we've already identified some of the gaps that are already there. So you'll find that within us, within our ecosystem, there are some partners who we are working with that not only they are from outside, but have been here for a while and already understand what is really needed for this African market.
Right.
So to answer your question, yes, there is a very big chance, and yes, and as Kenyans, we have a lot of businesses to explore into that space.
Right. Yeah. Also the fact that you've mentioned the people who are developing these solutions are either from Africa or have been here,
yes,
which means that, you know, the best way for us to move forward is to ensure the ones who are creating solutions understand the culture of the people.
Yes.
Yeah. And I see that's what Omni People is, you know, focusing on the people end of things. How long have you been around for?
I think Omni People has been there for quite some time.
Okay.
Quite some time. Some guys were not born yet.
Okay.
Some guys were not born yet. But we've been here for 3 decades.
Okay.
3 decades.
Right.
So
spanning several countries and now offering services which are ranging from software infrastructure distribution, hardware distribution, trainings, and consultation.
Yeah.
Let's speak of the software infrastructure distribution. What does this look like? What kind of solutions do businesses get from Omni in that end?
Well, when we look at that space, we will have to break it down into the industries that we are serving in the market.
Okay.
So you will find that those businesses who are in manufacturing, there are those businesses who are in pharmaceutical, there are those businesses who are oriented or they're inclined into hospitality and retail. So in that whole array, depending on the industries, go to accounting firms, go to tax auditing. In all those arrays, we have solutions that fit them. So we have solutions that cater for hospitality and retail. For the retail side and hospitality, you'll find there are those like guest management tools that hotel needs to have. There are those things that that ensure that there's that reservation. The reservation process is seamless. The payment process is seamless. When you go to retail, I know most people have been in supermarkets. They've seen the POS. Maybe they've seen Gap POS. They've seen. I'll not mention the names, but there are a number of POS that ensure that the checkout processes are. So those are the kind of softwares that you do. And to some of your audiences who are also listening, there are those ones who have the small shops.
Yeah.
It's not hard for them to install a POS so that they can manage their invoicing and managing their customers very well. So those are the kind of softwares that we do. But away from that also, when we are having a discussion about small businesses, it's quite critical for them to understand that there are some softwares that are cheap for them. It's not that when someone mentions about a software, it's something that's quite hard or something that's quite specifically staged for the upper level companies. So for these businesses, in terms of softwares, we cater for almost all industries. Yes.
Okay. So even the small business which thinks, I'm a medium store, mini market, I don't need so much of technology, it's important for them.
It is important.
Right. Why would you say it's key that, now everyone thinks about integrating technology such as the solutions you're offering into their business, however small? Why is it important at this stage?
Well, I really like the conversation that we are having this morning. And I think when technology is here, you cannot compare technology today and some 10 years back or some 20 years back. Right now, we are this moment, we are having simplified processes. We are streaming this live because of technology. We are ensuring that our audiences are listening to us They are getting the sound correctly. They are seeing the visualization correctly. When you look at media, there was a time when there was that transition from black to colored TV. It was quite a moment for most people. And when you look at now the businesses that we are talking to, there's that point when you need to do a change. There's that moment when you need to simplify your business processes. There's that moment when you need to ensure there's efficiency. There's that moment when you need to cut down time, ensure that your customers are satisfied. You don't take a lot of time. So it's really important when we discuss about technology, because there are quite a number of advantages that come with it. Even saving you cost. I'm not really running away from employment, but it saves the work output per head.
The thing is also, it gives you a chance to do other work that doesn't need you to spend so much if you can automate it in that way.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So if you're a small business, that's something that you should definitely be thinking around. I was going through your website again on security. Yeah. What kind of security products do you offer?
Okay, that's in terms of security, we are 360 degrees because we cover from home to mid-level companies to places like, let me say, like malls. No? So when you look at that kind of security, there are so many things which are needed. There are aspects of outdoor, there's aspects of indoor. When you look at outdoor, there's that place when someone can come into a particular premise, you need to check them in. So there are those biometrics and stuff. There are those things that you need to scan, we have them. And when you go to the inside of the house, there's the aspects of the CCTVs, ensuring that at least they capture everything, and at least the person who is coming in has been keyed in and is already existing in the system.
All right.
Yes.
Those are the kind of surveillance systems and security systems you provide as well.
Yes.
So this spans in the software aspects of it and also the physical hardware components, right?
Yeah, as Omni people, we push softwares and we also push hardwares.
Okay.
Yeah, so
there's a one-stop shop.
It's 360 degrees.
Okay, that's what it means there.
Yes.
So sometime back when I was running a startup of my own with a few friends of mine, we were providing a solution, patient management solution for doctors. And that shift from them having to wait for patients to call in the secretary, book in, schedule an appointment, trying to simplify it for them. It was a very exciting thing to pitch, but then sometimes it will be very hard to convince a person from a previous generation, way previous generation, not to mention anyone specifically, or any generation specifically, waseme, Gen Z mnatuonea.
Yes, Gen Z
mnatuonea sana. So there's generations which are like 2 generations behind me. And it will be very difficult sometimes to convince this person that this is very useful. Atasema, nyi watoto wa digital, nyi watoto wa mnasumbua na hizi vitu zenu za mtandao. And it's not just about the age, but also culturally. It's very hard to convince people even to shift to systems or to shift online or to, store their passwords through a password manager. They'll be like, mnanibia, mnataka kunibia. How do you navigate? Is that something that you encounter trying to convince, for example, a small business that you need this software, it's going to be useful to them? They think the cost of acquisition, but they don't think the long term of that.
Okay.
Is that something that you deal with, and how do you navigate that? Because I also saw there's training. I don't know if that's also part of the solution.
Well, when we are discussing around software, when we are discussing around hardware, it's not something that I should go to the shop and get sold. I'm coming to your shop and say, dear Chumfi, 20 bob or 30 bob, I go.
Do you software?
You have to understand the needs first.
Okay.
You have to understand what has the customer done or what has the person done before that has not worked for them. That's much more into call like a discovery session. We have to understand them first, and by that phase of understanding them, of course, if there's that person who doesn't have knowledge or they're having challenges in terms of trying to onboard that thing, of course, there's another person within that system, within that community, that will try to tell them that this is something that has worked. And once they give you the chance to go and showcase what you can do, that's now you go and we do now the discovery session. By doing the discovery session, we are trying to determine what are some of the things that have worked for them before. And if they're having challenges, trying to understand this new concept, what else can you also do so that they can be able to slowly try to migrate to this new solution? Because you will find that there are those businesses who have been in the market for quite some time. They're still maintaining the traditional way, because you'll find that the board of directors are quite, the best friends of the 1960s. Some 6 guys are now board of directors of the companies. So they believe that that's the way it's supposed to be structured. But when you're looking at the new gen, when you're looking at how businesses are the processes are going, and even for them, they must have that kind of information that are sitting with them, that things are not just the same. Even when they are looking at their books, things are not really moving the same. So it's just a matter of having a sit down with them, understanding what will work for them. And being a distributor as Omni people, we are not just offering us one solution alone. We have a variety of solutions. So if the solution doesn't work for you, the next solution will of course work for you. If this one does not really align with your culture, this other one can align with your culture. So it's not like we are really tied up in like
enforcing people to migrate.
Like you can migrate here, because technology is really coming up, and what we're having today is not what we will have in 2030. It will be a much more advanced of it, but through continuous learning, through continuous consultation, continuous support to those kind of customers, because we also offer support for them once they've already onboarded for the system, offer support for like 6 months. And then once they are fully equipped, when they have the resources within themselves, they are good to go.
All right.
Yeah.
That's where the training comes in, I understand. Then?
Yes.
You provide the training to the team, or whoever needs to understand the new system. Part of your services is consultancy. In what areas is the consultation?
Okay, so at times whenever we are discussing with our customers or with our partners, there are solutions which we don't have. We might not have everything, because there are some small other solutions that are coming up that are quite handy, and we need to be ahead of the game with them. So when it comes to that stage, we try to engage with our partners, and in terms of consultation, we try to find the right ways what we can do with them. But again, we also have some technical teams. Now they are called the functional consultants. So these technical teams are sitting in the different offices. Each one of them has been given the mandate of managing a specific system. If there are some customers, or there are some consumers of, there are some listeners who are getting us, and maybe they are asking like, hey, we can get a software from you, and then you will leave us, and maybe we might get a challenge in managing it. Look, as Omni people, we come in with the software, we come in with a functional consultant. We'll be doing now the consultation with you, ensuring that there's that much support that's needed. And for us as Omni people, we'll be able to manage you together with our partners, and ensuring that your business has a seamless experience in the market.
All right. So you're not just left with a system that you don't understand.
Yes.
You're getting support 6 months later and continuously through consultation.
Yes.
All right. So please do check out, as you've had, Omni People Distribution. The website is omnipeople.africa. Software is not expensive. It's not for the upper level businesses, but it's something that you can integrate even in your hata kama ni mama mboga, ndio keep track ni mboga stock ngapi unachukuanga wiki, pa mwezi imepanda imepungua. That's how we are heading towards in terms of technological advancements, and also the emerging technologies which are going to be useful for you as a business. Now, for the people who now want to reach out, wanataka wajue Omni People, wakuje for consultation, physical or online, where can they find you?
Okay, well, so to that point, I think maybe there's something which I would want to say. I don't know if we speak to students as well, or there are those people who are looking for training. We also offer training that's paid, but not really quite expensive. So because we understand that the market is changing, and this knowledge that is that's sitting with us, that there are some people who need to understand. So, I mean, to get equipped to. So we are currently offering training to maybe graduates who have already they have already completed their studies. We are also offering training to students, maybe accounting students who are in need of getting the certification in different softwares. We're also offering that, and also the businesses, if they are looking just to have that kind of knowledge, we are also offering that. There is a webinar which we are having soon on 3rd of October. I think when you check our pages, you will be able to see them on LinkedIn mostly. In terms of finding us, we are located at Riverside, ICA Lion Building, 2nd floor, the office called Horizon Offices. So that's where you will find us from Monday to Friday. My email, should I give my email?
Yeah, sure. Even your number, if you can.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Okay. So my email is ibrahimk at omnipeople.africa. So ibrahimk@omnipeople.africa. So you can just shoot an email there. I'll be able to engage with you. In case of any questions, I'll be able to respond to. My number is 0706 294 735. 0706 294 735.
All right, that's Omni People Distribution, offering you software services and hardware solutions for your business. If that's something that you feel like you need at this point, you've been struggling to manage your books, struggling to manage your suppliers, your employees, and all of those nitty-gritties that are slowing you down from focusing on profit, these are the kind of people to bring in for consultation.
Indeed.
For the services that they provide. You can be hosted on the cloud, services on the cloud, in person, something you can manage at the counter. All of this in one-stop shop, a 360-degree offering from Omni People. They've a footprint all across Africa, so that's something that you can be having faith in. They've done this across Botswana, Zambia, Malawi, Mozambique, Zimbabwe, and Kenya and South Africa, where the head office is at. And we've just spoken here with Ibrahim Musungu, who is the group marketing manager at Omni People Distribution Africa. We've been speaking about the company. If there's something I've left, this is going to be a chance to maybe just either emphasize it, highlight it, or just add it up. But just another extra thing on technology. I'm very curious with technology. I'm always following up on the developments in emerging tech, in AI, and the kind of work, of course, that you do also falls in that category. Just maybe one other statement as we had started to let people in on how they can prepare for technology, because the future is here. It's no longer something we speak of as a far off dream. I remember a few weeks back we were watching a video with my producer Ryan of robots being launched somewhere by NVIDIA, and it was something futuristic. It looked like things straight out of a sci-fi movie, but we are here. It's a reality now. Just to ensure we are also catching up, because I'm concerned that you might be left behind again, and I hope not. So just to let people be aware and to be ready for the technologies, and also anything from Omni People that I might have forgotten to bring up. Yes.
I think we're much more into the parting shot will be, let them be ready. Let them be ready. Let them not, let no one hide anything from you, because you can get anything right now. If you're looking for information, you can get it anywhere. You can get it from ChatGPT, you can get it from browsing anywhere, you can get it from anywhere. There are so many simple tools that even you don't need to be taught. So the aspects about technology is just for us to be ready, for us to ensure that we are not shying away from anything new that's coming in. It's good for us to try. I believe if Carl Benz could not have tried the car, we will not be here. Maybe we will be using something else or something.
Yeah.
So it's
Toyotas.
yeah, it's something that we need to be ready. Much more into I'm speaking to the Kenyans. So when you look at Kenya, we are quite ahead in terms of internet. I think we are among the leading countries in terms of internet connectivity, in terms of supply of electricity. So we are quite ahead. We are not like behind like some other countries that I've been to. So you will find that there are some opportunities which we already have, and we as the generation that already understand these things, we should be able to also teach the generations that don't understand what we already have. Previously, some few months ago, when we had some activities happening in Kenya, you will find that there are some people who went at home and they try to teach their parents about TikTok. They try to teach them about trying to speak out, trying to do what they can be able to do so that they can be heard. So you'll find even right now when you go to most of these sites, you'll find even there's some old men doing some trends now. So you are not left behind. If there are people who can go to an extent to do those kind of things, you can also try to find a place where you can be comfortable with. If you're someone who is more into social, you just go into the specific social that's good for you and ensure that it's profitable. And if you're someone who is much more into research and much more into automation, go to some of the platforms that can be able to, that can help you to get what you are looking for. So we should just be ready. We should accept. And as a country, we are quite ahead. We are very, very, very far ahead, even ahead of South Africa in terms of so many things. So we have the chance. We have Omni people here, and we can be able to support anyone at any stage.
All right.
Yes.
Reach out to them. The contacts were already given. The website is omnipeople.africa. If you missed it, we are going to cut this specific segment for you, and you'll find it on KUTV Kenya YouTube so that you can rewatch it if you came in late, or if you just want to get more information that might have been too fast for you to note down. Thank you for joining me, Mr. Ibrahim.
Thank you.
And a good day to you.
Yeah, thank you.
But for me, I continue here on Biashara Tuesday. Just a short break, and then I'll be back to sample your feedback, and also welcoming in Ojwang Mariam and Michael Oyaro for more conversations that we have prepared. Don't go too far. This is still Biashara Tuesday.
Are you an aspiring media practitioner, a graduate, or you just want to advance your skills in television production? Then welcome to Kenyatta University, where education meets innovation. KUTV, the premier university television station in Kenya, is now offering short courses in TV studio, field technical operations, and video editing. Through these courses, you will acquire hands-on skills on camera operations, media production, lighting techniques, audiovisual editing, and sound and visual control, and how to operate key equipment in modern TV control room. Enroll today at KUTV and discover your full potential in cutting-edge TV broadcasting. Graduates of these courses will receive professional certificates. For more information, visit our offices at KUTV Studios or call us on 020-870-4252 or 020-870-4255 or SMS us on 0739-110-544. KUTV, a new experience.
Lola is an app that gives you a chance to watch videos, listen to audios, and read articles wherever you are for free. Motivational stories, dramas, campus life, technology, lifestyle, adventure, sports, academics, jobs, entertainment, and more. Download Lola now on Play Store. All you need, you got Lola.
wa jamii. Kupanda shuka, akawa tuzo. Ukakamavu wake, ukatii na kumfanya mwenye bidii. Kwa machozi na makeke, akabaini jinsi ya kuwini. Huyu ni mwanamke ngangari kwa jinsi alivyo ng'ari. Mimi ni mwanamke mwake. Usikose kutazama kipindi cha mwanamke mwake nami Caroline Kimwele.
Ni kaunti maarufu kwa kuzalisha maziwa na ukuzaji wa majani chai. Pia, serikali ya kaunti inawahimiza wakulima kukumbatia mitindo mingine ya kilimo kuzidisha mapato.
Kama kuna kikundi moja inafanya biashara ya kuuza kuku, hao pia tumewafadhili kuwafunza jinsi ya kuhandle zile kuku kwa sababu wanaleta kwa wingi.
Haya yote tunakuletea katika Boresha Kilimo, toleo la kaunti ya Bomet.
Kilimo ni nguzo kubwa kwa ujenzi wa taifa.
Maelfu na maelfu ya wahamiaji wakiwa na watoto kutoka nchi za Amerika ya Kati wanaendelea kuwasili kwenye mpaka kati ya Marekani na Mexico.
But folks, I'm going. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Ni habari kutoka pembe zote duniani.
Pepo pasi vuguvugu, pepo pani idea.
Tazidi ananyonya, hanyonyi vizuri, anakuwa hayuko comfortable.
Jeshi la Jamhuri ya Kidemokrasia ya Kongo linapambana na waasi wa ADF.
Kwa sasa wanatoa wito kwa mashirika, makampuni na vile vituo vya uchukuzi.
Mambo mengi yatakwenda kama yalivyopangwa.
Hapa ni kuna mmoja wa viongozi wa chama cha wavuvi katika eneo hili.
Zaidi tunajaribu kuwapa chanjo ili ina boost ama inanyanyua kinga ya mwili, hiyo inaenda kupelekea kupambana na virusi.
Ni duniani leo, Jumatatu mpaka Ijumaa, moja kwa moja kutoka VOA Swahili, Washington DC.
Access to knowledge, solution to unanswered questions.
Guidelines to pursuing your rights and repossessing your property, intellectual or material.
This and more, only on Law Matters.
From the hospital corridors, we bring you experts to discuss issues affecting your health, from diet to mental health. The familiar and the ignored are both put into perspective. We then dive into the environment and look at the effects of climate change and its solutions. Join me, Mutegi K. Martin, every Friday at 9 p.m. as we learn on how to better our health while taking care of our environment. Only on KUTV.
All right, still on Biashara Tuesday. Just had a conversation with Ibrahim Musungu, the group managing marketing manager at Omni People Distribution. What they're doing is they're distributing to you software solutions and hardware solutions and training and consultancy when it comes to how you can integrate technology into your business. Very important in this day and age. The people who watch this show, young businesses, migrate online, not only through just having social media accounts, having a website, but you need more solutions which are going to help you with kama saizi kuna a lot of KRA stuff going on. How do you keep track of your receipts? How do you keep tabs of your suppliers, deni zako, watu wako na pesa zako? You need somewhere that is automated. How do you check the trends month to month? January ulikuwa na leads ngapi za marketing, December ulikuwa na ngapi, how's the graph looking like, what is happening, so that you're also very keen on market trends internally. You need some of these solutions. Reach out to them at Riverside, and this is in the areas of Westlands, okay, in the ICA building. Kisonga tu pale Chiromo stage, songa mbele kidogo, you will see them. You'll see the ICA building, and then get them there at the Horizon offices. Ibrahim Musungu says they will help you, and you should be ready for technology. If old people are trending on TikTok, how about you? A small shop, you can have technology in that shop in Wendani and manage things efficiently. So beware of that. Young people, young businesses, reach out to us. We'll connect you to Omni People Distribution. They have a footprint. Head office is in South Africa, but they have a footprint all across the continent, and that speaks to the extent of expertise that they have and that they can accord you. It is 8:30 in the morning. Watu ambao wametune in, I see from Roiro Wangeshi anasema leo net inamsumbua, lakini amekuwa akiingia akichoka na bado anafuatilia show. On Twitter we'll be sampling your feedback as well, and other social platforms. Keep sending them through. I'll be with Ojwang Mariam and Michael Oyaro and Ojwang Mariam will be here for the newspaper review section in just a bit. We're having a look at a couple of issues, of course, the developments that are there in the headlines this morning, but everything else that has developed since last week. I see that President William Ruto has appointed a 139-member committee to have a look at the new university funding model and to see what's wrong with it. Earlier, when he took power in 2022, he appointed a presidential work task force towards the CBC curriculum. They did their report, they reported back. We have seen no help. So what's the difference in having a 139 member have a look at the new university funding model when students, teachers and parents are saying, let's just go back to how it was. The old model worked good. So why change it, and why have a committee to have a look at the new one so that it does rectifications? In October 1st, in 2 weeks' time, NHIF is no longer in function. We will be moving to SHIF. What should you expect in that? And healthcare, how will it look like for you in October? Ukiwa mgonjwa October, November, December, utatibiwa aje? Ni pesa ngapi unafaa contribute? Have you been contributing? What is happening in this gap between NHIF to that? We'll be having a look at that. And also politics. It is back in full swing in churches. The rift between DP Rigathi Gachagua and President William Ruto, a conversation we're having here, but also the diplomatic spat between Kenya and Germany, exporting labor. How is that like? In the US, assassination attempts, another one on the former President Donald Trump. Will he make it to the elections in November 5th alive? That's a discussion that we definitely must have in a few. So don't go too far. Tweet us out, leave us a comment, leave us a question, any query that you have. We'll be tackling those in the opinion, reactions, and predictions in the newspaper review. Don't go too far. In the KUTV newsroom, they have some updates for us from locally and international front. We begin with President William Ruto, who yesterday initiated the restoration of the Nairobi River Basin in a government program that is set to kick off on October 1st this year. Speaking during a meeting with the National Government Administration officers from Nairobi County at the Kenya School of Government in Lower Kabete, Nairobi, the head of state highlighted that the pollution of Nairobi River cannot represent the face of Kenya, and that this initiative, dubbed Climate Works, is aimed at ensuring that the Nairobi River becomes a commercial and recreational asset.
Let us deal with matters of keeping Nairobi clean, and let us also assist with making sure that Nairobi is secure.
The people who pollute Nairobi River, Your Excellency, are known by name, by institution, and by location.
The city of Nairobi is the face of Kenya, and we must get it out. We must get it right in the city as we get it right all over the country.
Nairobi River today and the entire ecosystem around Nairobi River is presenting great hazard to the health of the people of Kenya, both upstream and downstream.
Tusikubali kuingiza mambo ya ukabila. Tusikubali kuingiza mambo ya ufisadi. Then we are going to have a wonderful program.
Parliament is back. The National Assembly will resume House business today after a recess, with a number of bills having been slated, including the reconstitution of IEBC and the vetting of the nominee for the position of Inspector General of Police Service, Mr. Douglas Kanja. Dennis Munyi has the report.
After resting for 6 weeks, the legislatures will now have to roll up their shirts neat and get back to business as many bills await debate. The National Assembly, which is set to resume sittings tomorrow, Tuesday 17th, following their short recess in August, has packed agendas that await the lawmakers. In the parliamentarians' entry is the long-standing role of the reconstitution of the IEBC. The reconstitution of the country's electoral body will form part of the key agenda that the lawmakers will consider, as there is a legal deficit that the august House must fill when members return for the third session of the 13th Parliament.
Priority business includes the possibility of finishing up the reconstitution of IEBC. The country has gone without IEBC for a long time, and I take this opportunity to encourage those who have been making challenges in court to stall the process of having a selection panel for IEBC, to rethink their minds and give way for this noble cause.
Also top of the agenda is the motion on the appointment of former Deputy Inspector General of Police Douglas Kanja as the Inspector General of Police following the resignation of Japhet Koome earlier this year. The MPs will be expected to debate and vote on whether to approve his nomination. The House will also consider bills referred from the Senate, including the Division of Revenue Amendment Bill 2024 that seeks to adjust how the national government shares its revenue with the county government following the significant shortfall in the projected revenue for the financial year 2024-2025 after the withdrawal of the Finance Bill 2024 that was characterized by high-octane politics and the Gen Z-led protests. As the parliamentarians resume sittings tomorrow, it is evident that the MPs' hands are full with pending national agendas, but if at all they do not fast-track the issues, then this might only be smelling doom to the reform process. Dennis Munyi, KUTV.
Right, sticking with the members of parliament, Mbeere North MP Geoffrey Ruku has stated that he will be pushing to table a bill that seeks to amend the IEBC Act to automate the election process. With the parliament set to resume today, the Mbeere North MP also welcomed the move to merge the NGCDF and other education bursaries, saying MPs have no issues.
As parliament sets to resume on Tuesday, Mbeere North MP Geoffrey Ruku observed that the top in the agenda is to finalize the setting up of the IEBC selection panel. He added that he will also be pushing for his bill seeking to amend the IEBC Act to automate the election process.
And as a member of parliament, I have instituted amendment of the Election Act to change the definition of what a ballot paper is and definition of what ballot box is. to ensure we have proper automation. That automation of our election process moving forward. Ili kama unapiga kura na inajulikana papo hapo.
The Mbeere North Member of Parliament also welcomed the move to merge the NGCDF and other education bursaries, noting that if the proposals are accepted, the legislatures will pass a law to govern the education funding through bursaries. He, however, reiterated that the process must take into consideration the marginalized areas like Mbeere.
Ya kusema CDF na GAV na bursaries zote ziwekwe mahali moja. We have no problem with scrutinizing the proposal. Kama ni bursaries zote ziwekwe kitu mahali pamoja, watoto wa Kenya wapate masomo sawasawa.
Ruku also commended the push to have Mount Kenya East chart its own political path under the Interior Secretary, Professor Kithure Kindiki, who was earlier endorsed by 68 MPs as the link between Mount Kenya and the executive. He applauded members of parliament from the West who supported Professor Kithure Kindiki, noting that it was historic since leaders from the three counties of Meru, Embu and Tharaka Nithi had endorsed the same.
More than 21 members of parliament from East pia tunaunga hiyo. Na ni jambo muhimu na ni jambo la kihistoria in supporting that Professor Kithure Kindiki to be the main link between the people, the people's projects, and the administration of His Excellency the President.
As Parliament resumes tomorrow, the debate on the reconstitution of IEBC, among other agendas, will be expected to be on the top priority. Dennis Munyi, KUTV.
In Muthurwa Market, angry traders in Narok Town are up in arms protesting an alleged assault of their market watchman by a police officer dressed in civilian. The traders barricaded the road leading to the county commissioner's office by burning tires, demanding the release of the watchman. Listen in.
Kietu tunataka pamoja. Kwa nini atumia kifua? Atimpiga. Kwa nini wanaua watu?
Business in Narok Town came to a standstill on Monday morning as members of the Muthurwa Market staged demonstration to protest alleged police assault and harassment to one of their watchmen. According to Joyce Kariuki, a trader, the watchman had asked the ununiformed police to identify himself after he forced his way into the market gate, which led to confrontation between the police officer and the watchman. The watchman was arrested and is held in police cell.
Na sababu ya kumchapa ni kwa sababu ameambiwa siingie ndani kwa sababu masaa imeisha. Na kuingia hakuwa mpaka na apron. Hakuwa na apron yako. Hakuwa na ile nguo ya askari ya kuonyesha ni askari. Ndio maana wakaanza kumchapa. Huyu kijana wetu hata tumuoni. Hatujui kwenye yako. Na tunataka huyu kijana wetu ndio tujue ni nini kinaendelea.
While speaking to the media, the trader's father said a woman who tried to rescue the watchman from the hands of the brutal police was also assaulted and taken to Narok County Referral Hospital, where she is recuperating.
Kitu tunataka haki. Yes. Na tutoki huku bila uyugi, na tutoki huku kama haki ijakuwa sawa. Soko ataketa funguliwa next month, ifunguliwe. Bora tupewe uyugi na government ya huku ifuate sheria, sio kuenda patrol bila uniform.
Amempiga kichwa, tumbo mpaka miguu. Na saa hii tunamtaka kumuona wanakatasa. Kwani wasiasi wa hapa hasikii hiyo kelele iko kwa gate. Anasikia hiyo makerera iko kwa gate na hataki kukuja kutusikiliza. Sasa watu wakubwa wetu mpaka MP, gavana wetu na ule anaitwa nini? Senator wetu wako wapi saa hii?
The traders demanding the release of their watchman and action to be taken against the police officer by the name Abdi, who is said to have terrorized their watchman. Akida Kasim, KUTV.
Hatutaki mwingine. No, yugi.
Quite some scenes there from Narok Town, Muthura Market. I hope that they get the justice that they are demanding for. Now, through a courtesy call to the Deputy Vice Chancellor Research Outreach and Innovation, represented by Professor Richard Oduor, the Registrar at the Research Football Foundation Africa founder Brian Wesala and his team signed a memorandum of agreement with Kenyatta University to ensure research and knowledge in sports can grow and also ensure areas of collaboration in that field. According to Professor Oduor, research needs to be fast-tracked to ensure that African countries improve their standards in sports.
Every activity, and I want to believe that all the sports trigger different sections of the body. If you're a footballer, you will see a lot of legs and arms working more than a volleyballer. I suspect the upper arm will be working more. And for that, to sustain that energy, some of us go into the genes and find out what are the genes that are upregulated during particular sports and exercises. When you do that, you are able to profile, and that's where this AI and everything else is headed. You are able to know what are the right foods that will give you different moieties that when you do metabolism, you are sustained. It gives you the energy at a good pace.
We cannot do scientific community outreach without connection to the people who are in the practice, in line with what areas of our training and research. So Brian reached out because they are having an activity this year, and having interacted with the conference, he thought that our school had a big opportunity to contribute in the upcoming event that they are organizing, and we'll talk about it. And because it is related to football federation in Africa, I roped in our colleagues who are in the Department of Recreation and Sports Management to come actively into it.
I feel like KU is giving me a home because everything we do should be grounded on knowledge, the kind of knowledge that you're sharing with us. And sports being what it is and how critical it can be for our country, for our continent, it's high time we promote knowledge in the sports area. Yes, we are doing it, but we're not doing it to the extent that is required.
Now, over 5,000 premature deaths in Kenya per year are air pollution related. This is now expected to change after the installation of air monitors in Nairobi. Let's have a look at that.
Dense traffic and dirty fuel emissions characterize some of the Kenyan capital's streets. The city is home to at least 5 million people, and with the growing numbers, local authorities say the air quality is declining.
Many vehicles use diesel and petrol. They are emitting a lot of chemicals, the gases into the air. And also we have industries. Some of them are built in residential area.
Residents like Eunice Chuli, a vendor in Nairobi, bear the brunt of the situation. Chuli says she often falls sick. She believes it's because of the dirty air that she's exposed to here daily.
Recently, I had a coughing issue. I was coughing very seriously. I had to go to a hospital to be checked. Yeah, I was under medication for a whole week.
The highest being It's a situation that the authorities here are beginning to deal with. The first step is to install air quality monitors around the city. The monitors' inlets pick up particles in the air. Larger fragments are screened out, leaving the thin bits to flow to a filter. The head of air quality at the World Resources Institute, George Mwaniki, explains that the system measures particles which are usually dangerous to the human body.
And they come to a filter here where they are impacted, and then the machine has a very sensitive weighing machine that it weighs every 1 minute what is the changes in terms of the weight of the filter.
So this is actually an hourly concentration.
The collected data is sent out for real-time analysis. At least 37 monitors have been set up so far. The initiative is funded by the U.S. Agency for International Development, or USAID, for over $1.5 million. The agency's spokesperson says the data will help the government target clean air interventions where they are most needed and evaluate their effectiveness. According to a 2020 report, more than 5,000 premature deaths in Kenya are caused each year by air pollution. Respiratory disease specialist Dr. Jared Mecha says diseases that result from pollution are a matter of growing concern.
You have cough, so cough that we cannot explain. Then we also have actually cancers of the upper airway.
With the air monitoring devices, Nairobi joins 10 global cities that are working towards clean air by gathering data.
The Breathe Cities initiative looks to take a sectoral approach, and so we're looking for innovative policies across transport, across waste management, across industry.
People interviewed by VOA say possible solutions for Nairobi include the adoption of electric vehicles, greater control of industrial emissions, and the proper collection and disposal of garbage. Researchers say political goodwill is essential to implementing any solution. Residents like Chuli hope that lasting improvements to the air quality can be found soon. Victoria Amunga, VOA News, Nairobi.
All right, from that we move to a bit of sports information that is coming out of your world and also involving a bit of AFCON and Omanyala. President William Ruto, we begin there, is confident that Kenya will be ready to co-host the Africa Cup of Nations in 2027 following a recent meeting with the Confederation of African Football, CAF President Patrice Motsepe. Ruto assured that renovations at Kasarani and Nyayo stadiums and the construction of Talanta Sports City Stadium are progressing well.
By allowing us to host AFCON, you have actually given us a brand new stadium without knowing, because we are now in the process of building Talanta Stadium, which is going to be a 60-seater stadium.
On behalf of millions of Africans, not just Kenyans, but Africans throughout the continent, who you consistently make proud and represent the best of our continent and our people.
All right, so that's what's up. We are ready for AFCON, and we might have a new stadium, according to President William Ruto, and that's progressing very well. So if you are close to where the stadium, that is Talanta Sports City Stadium, is at, tupigie picha, utuonyeshe progress, tufanyie video, and tag at Morara Kebaso, atuonyeshe kama hiyo project inaendelea vizuri. I asked a few weeks back after the Olympics in Paris, France, after Omanyala, had a very bad start in his 100-meter hit and didn't proceed and didn't make a good record or come back home with a medal. I asked if he has something for me later. It seems that he actually did. Ferdinand Omanyala has now ended the season ranked as the world's second fastest man in 100 meters with a time of 9.79 seconds. So that's despite a challenging 2024 season, which was marked by his inability to compete in the Diamond League and due to a past ban and an injury. He's now the second fastest man in the world when it comes to 100 meters. And we are hoping that very soon he'll break that Usain Bolt record, which no one seems to be getting to. So 9.79 seconds, that's to Omanyala, the second fastest man in the world, and of course, the fastest man in Africa. And when it comes to marathon and long distance running, that's nothing to speak of, because we have Faith Kipyegon to hold fort there. So congratulations to Omanyala and to all the athletes who continue to raise the Kenyan flag high. That brings us to the end of the updates this morning in terms of the most relevant news coming out of your world from yesterday to this morning. Grateful to all the reporters once more at KUTV Newsroom who are able to prepare this for us and deliver it every day. 6:30 p.m. you get Mizizi ya Habari, the Swahili version of news, and then 9 p.m. you have prime time news. Check out today and see what developments there are to keep track of in your world. But in the meantime, this is still Biashara Tuesday. today. So we're getting back to conversations which are relevant to us in matters of business and the economy. Coming up next is a discussion or a panelist discussion with Joang Mariam and Michael Oyaro. What do we have for you this morning? What do you have for us? Grab the dailies and then join us for that intense exchange, and we'll be sampling your feedback as well at KUTV Kenya at Richard_OKENYE. Don't go far.
My name is Jakub Petri. I'm Associate Professor in the Institute of Philosophy of Jagiellonian University in Krakow, Poland. And I'm the main coordinator of the Cafe project, which is being here hosted by Kenyatta University.
My name is Ewa Hudoba. I am a project manager in this consortium. Keep watching cutting edge research at Kenyatta University Television.
Solution to unanswered questions.
Guidelines to pursuing your rights and repossessing your property, intellectual or material.
This and more only on Law Matters.
Wa jamii. Kupanda shuka akawa tuzo, ukakamavu wake ukatii na kumfanya mwenye bidii. Kwa machozi na makeke akabaini jinsi ya kuweni. Huyu ni mwanamke ngangari kwa jinsi alivyo ng'ari. Mimi ni mwanamke mwake. Usikose kutazama kipindi cha mwanamke mwake nami Caroline Kimweli.
They are powerful and influential. They make decisions in politics, education, finance, agriculture, health, sports, and all aspects of human life. But the impact of their decisions falls on you, the common citizen. KUTV Primetime News Thursday. We ask bold questions and pursue answers to the core to bring you closer to the story. We couldn't have it any other way. Join me, Auma Evans, as I raise matters of social concern to raise your voice from the background to the foreground.
Tunachimba hadi mizizi kukuletea yanayojiri.
So mimi naomba tu serikali yetu ya Mungu, jibarikiwe na Mungu, iweze kuteremsha bei ya mafuta.
Yanayokukumba tuna maizi, tuna kutetea sisiri. Kwa kweli ni speciali tukikupambia makala ya mwanamke mwake. Utasema hupendi mizizi ya habari. Nami Caroline Kimweli.
Ni kaunti maarufu kwa kuzalisha maziwa na ukuzaji wa majani chai. Pia serikali ya kaunti inawahimiza wakulima kukumbatia mitindo mingine ya kilimo kuzidisha mapato.
Kama kuna kikundi moja inafanya biashara ya kuuza kuku, hao pia tumewafadhili kuwafunza jinsi ya kuhandle zile kuku kwa sababu wanaleta kwa wingi.
Haya yote tunakuletea katika Boresha Kilimo, toleo la kaunti ya Bomet.
Kilimo ni nguzo kubwa kwa ujenzi wa taifa.
Kipindi hewani ni mitindo ya kipwani. Kama ilivyo kipindi hiki kinahusu nyimbo za tarab, chakacha, midwara, midundiko, bila kusahau mapishi. Ambao ndio uti wa mgongo wa pwani ya Afrika Mashariki.
Jamani swahibu zangu mliopo maskani, hatuonani wenzangu, najua mwanitamani.
Hapa KUTV, nahodha mwendesha chombo cha baharini, yani ua linalonukia na kuvutia waridi tamu.
Ni nguzo na uso wa jamii. Kupanda shuka, akawa tuzo. Ukakamavu wake, ukatii na kumfanya mwenye bidii. Kwa machozi na makeke, akabaini jinsi ya kuweni. Huyu ni mwanamke ngangari, kwa jinsi alivyo ng'ari. Mimi ni mwanamke mwake. Usikose kutazama kipindi cha mwanamke mwake, nami Caroline Kimwele.
We are all seeing the impacts of climate change. In Kenya, for example, the frequency of the floods is becoming more and worse. The amount of people and livestock we are losing.
The level we need to go is the level where the normal mwananchi and also the government stakeholders can uptake these solutions.
Those small acts multiplied by millions of us will help make a difference in the world at the end of the day.
It's just a slight behavior change that we need, and you find that it serves us a bit more than you put in. And that's the goal. We want to live a better world than we found. Because at the rate we are going, it's dire.
We will secure the planet for future generations.
The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom.
The Bible says, when he spoke, then he spoke a parable to them, that men always ought to pray and not lose heart.
Christ says, I stand in the door and I knock. Whoever hears my voice and opens, I will dwell with him.
Like the moon, I will fade, but like the star, I will rise again. And though I fall, be rest assured that I will rise again.
Go to the hospitals, tell them that God will heal them. Go to the prisons, tell them that they'll be free. Go to the crusades and tell people that Christ is coming, and sooner than the word itself, the second advent is imminent.
All right, welcome to Biashara Tuesday. It's going to be an interesting one here this morning. Very intense discussions from a war between the police force and the corridors of justice, that is the judiciary system. There's also war between, or prospects of war between President William Ruto and his deputy, Rigathi Gachagua, which we have spoken in detail before here on the show. But expenditure, business and economics. Gen Z protests which have led to the Treasury cutting budgets for the next financial year by as much as 334 billion. And then on the Star, I see something here about governors who grew their own revenue. Where did they grow this revenue from? Yeah, so we'll have a look at that, so that those counties which aren't growing revenue, they pick notes from there. So that's what's up. But let me introduce the gentlemen who are joining me for that discussion before we read you the headlines. On the far left of me and on your far right on the screen is going to be Ojwang Mariam, and then in the middle between me and Ojwang Mariam is Michael Oyaro, who is also joining us on this set for yet another time to add some spice into the discussion. So let's begin with Ojwang Mariam, who was stepping in on my show last week on Tuesday. Biashara Tuesday ilikuwaje mzee, na wewe ukoje?
First of all, happy birthday once again.
Asante.
We're now 26 years.
Nakwambia, nimezeeka.
You've been here reading this constitution. Wewe umezaliwa wakati wenye sasa watu ndio wanasoma. All the way from Alliance, and you're doing good.
Thank you. I'm trying my best.
We did the show. Hiyo siku ndo tulikuwa na wewe anko. Yeah, and we ensured that hatuja kuangusha.
Nice.
We also had conversations on the either International Council for Health, Physical Education, Research, Sports and Dance.
ISFAD.
Africa Congress.
Yes.
Tulikuwa nayo hapa hivi with Dr. Jane Kamau, and it was sweet and awesome.
Nice.
This morning, as Ojwang Mariam, we're here once again to ensure that tunaambia watu kweli kulingana na yale ambayo yameandikwa, yale ambayo yako.
Yes.
Defense of justice, the Standard wanasema, alafu Daily Nation wanasema rogue police boss.
That's the headline.
Na hiyo ndio introduction yangu.
I love it. Michael, welcome to the show. Salimia wadau. Koje?
Niko salama. As you said, Ojwang, last week we were here together with him. And
nice.
They had given you a package to go to Mombasa and enjoy yourself. So happy birthday in person. I'm glad to join you people on the show and discuss these issues, especially contentious issues relating to the rule of law and its non-adherence by principal actors of the state.
Nice. Very good. Thank you very much, Michael, for being gracious enough to be on the show twice in a row, 2 weeks in a row. Yeah, that's we don't take it for granted. Asante sana. Yes, I did do a few of travels. Ilikuwa tu ni haikuwa burudani tu Ojwang, pia feasibility studies. Pia tunaangalia mali civic education inafaa kuenea wapi, na benchmarking.
Wao wanafanya civic education wako aje wa pwani.
Kweli pale kwa beach boys wanapata constitution.
Vile inafaa. By the way, I have my copy of Swahili.
Yes.
Swahili constitution from Constitution and Reform Education Consortium CRECO. Nitakuwa nikitumia sana sasa. Especially on Mondays kwa sababu
tufikie watu sababu wao ndio kuna broad economy size.
Hatuwezi taka tukue mahali penye Chief Justice mwenye akona mandate ya kuensure justice is accessible to everyone and without delay. Hata yeye analia hakuna justice. Defense of justice, hata yeye amekuwa unakumbuka Ruto wakati alikuwa analia kila wakati, mtu wa kitendawili wameshikana na Uhuru ananifinya. Now our Chief Justice is doing the same. And if she's crying, then who will help us? In a democratic country
where the president of the Supreme Court
is crying for justice.
Now, I think that's where we will begin at. You've read us the headline of the Standard in the Nation. The Business Daily says Gen Z protests. Treasury cuts tax target by 334 billion. I want to point out something funny with the Business Daily and their lack of database. Okay, notice back when we had CS for this very ministry called Njuguna Ndungu, the same photo when it came to matters of treasury was the one they recycled every other time. Same with the CBK governor Kamau Thuge. Saizi hii ambadi hata hajakaa hapa mwezi moja. This is the third time I'm seeing the Business Daily use the same image when they're talking about the treasury. So kama nataka picha zaidi, reach out to us. Watu
I think there is something about Business Daily. Na sijui kama Business Daily huandika gazeti for wana biashara pekee ama for all Kenyans. You first of all, hadi hiyo rangi ya hiyo karatasi brings trauma to every person amewahi kalia karatasi ya KCPE na KCSE. And then they don't care about your the visual attractiveness of the reader. Wao wanakuwekea picha ile kama diagram.
Wanairudia tu.
Wanajua wakununua atanunua tu.
Yeah, same thing with where they're speaking about spending, just briefcase of the CS pale. Same thing with the rest, but we'll get into the details. Hiyo ni mali nimetoa tu makosa. Gen Z protests, that's the headline. Treasury cuts tax target by 334 billion for the next financial year, so that they ensure they're falling under the guidelines that the young people were demanding should not be included in the finance bill of 2024. The Star, how 14 governors grew on revenue. We see here most improved counties in own source revenue performance in 2 years. Na to give commendations where they are necessary. Naona mtu ambaye huwa tunapiga sana hapa, governor wa Nairobi County, Governor Sakaja, amegrow revenue ya Nairobi by a lot, 9.23 billion to 12 billion. Yani ameongeza bilioni hapo 3 na katika revenue.
From 9 to
12.
That figure is very important. Wacha niweke pending.
Weka pending pale. Tutakuja kujua na kuna wale ambao wameperform zaidi. Wajua Mariam, tuanzishe na rogue police officer.
Now that is on the Daily Nation kwa mtazamaji.
Yes.
And pale juu anasema intimidation. Police chief has been ignoring court summons over 3 missing men. Sawa?
Yes.
Hiyo ndio ilifanya now the rogue police boss aweze kupelekwa wapi? Kule mahakamani. This deliberate and punitive measure, hii ni statement yake CJ Martha Koome inafanya tuseme. Now the person who is in charge of ensuring this justice in this country is crying, and she's saying, this deliberate and punitive measure represents a direct assault on judicial independence, an affront to the rule of law and violation of the principle enshrined in our constitution. If President Ruto today will be crying that mahakama inanifinya, wanapunguzaga sijui budget ya judiciary.
Yes.
Wanaanza kuwafinya. The judiciary wao ni kama wao hawana nguvu. All they can do is cry. Kesho au kesho kutwa utasikia wameitwa na Rais State House na kutakuwa na majaji sijui wamehayariwa, wengine hawajahayariwa. Tutoke huko kwote. This country has 3 arms of government.
Yes.
And they all serve one purpose as checks and balances. Hakuna inafaa kuwa kubwa kuliko ile ingine.
Kweli?
Sasa ni vile tu si binadamu angepewa mikono miwili. Lakini juu the constitution is greater than all of us, iko na mikono mitatu. The judiciary, the parliament and the executive. But hapa hivi the executive acting Inspector General of Police, not Inspector General of Police. If Kenyans are not aware, then today, Tuesday, is the day that the parliament is resuming, and they will be talking about that seat.
Yes.
Inspector General of Police.
Yes.
The acting one, Masengeli, has violated court attempts 7 times. Amekuwa charged, ameambiwa mpaka saizi amefungwa 6 months. He's just acting. Yeye pekee ni mkubwa kuliko the whole of judiciary. The judge mwenye alipeana hilo hukumu. Saizi ameondolewa security, ameondolewa dereva.
Wanasema wameondoa security kwa sababu these police officers are going to undertake VIP courses. It has nothing to do with the case that is ongoing. Kuna courses VIP.
Haina shida, kwani saizi ndio imepatikana after amepeana verdict yake.
Yes.
And katika nchi ambayo tunasikia watu wanaendelea kuwa abducted every now and then. Maisha ya huyu jaji tunajua aje hayako hatarini.
Kweli.
Kesho tutaanza kuamka kulia. Chief Justice bado ni atatusaidia kulia. oh I have lost a judge, I have lost a judge. Power ya judiciary iko wapi kwa hii nchi?
Right. We'll get to hear from Michael, who walks the corridors of justice way more often than us. But I just wanted to read this press statement that has been published here by the Office of the Inspector General, National Police Service, signed on September 16th by Gilbert Masengeli, MBS, OGW, AGIG.
AKA. Masenge.
Gilbert Masengeli, MBS, OGW, AGIG. That's his full title there. Signed, sikumaliza. Gilbert Masengeli, MBS, OGW, AGIG, NPS. That's his full title, signed there September 16th. The first one, I just want to read he has done a couple of clarifications, including why he withdrew police presence for that, for VIP security courses. Yeah, wameenda VIP security courses. Wando waweze kulinda judge zaidi. That's part of his clarification. But I just want to read the first one so I can get a response from Michael on the same. The National Police Service would like to clarify as follows. The responsibility for the independent command of the National Police Service is vested in the Inspector General, and no person may give a direction to the IG with respect to the employment, assignment, promotion, suspension, or dismissal of any member of the National Police Service. The IG is responsible for the security of all Kenyans, regardless of their status in society. Nonetheless, the IG may accord additional security detail to specific persons based on the nature of the assignment being undertaken by such persons and the threat levels with their responsibilities may attract. In the view of the foregoing, the NPS wishes to rebut the claims of allegations raised by the JSC and assure the country that security of everyone remains their prime consideration. Michael.
Yes.
As you weigh in on this, I'd also like to hear your views on the independence. John Mariama mentioned that the Constitution has 3 arms there to ensure that it takes care of everyone in every relevant sphere of the Kenyan society. When it comes to independence, then how do we navigate summons such as those? One independent arm requires the other to show up, and the other feels way more independent than the other one. It's like an animal farm, as George Orwell would call it. There are those who are, it's a farm of equal animals, but there are those who are more equal than others. How do we solve a situation? The CJ is crying for justice when she's supposed to be dispensing justice to ensure she's the caretaker of justice. Who's going to save her? Or who's going to save us, as Ojwang has asked in the very end? Let me start by saying separation of powers is normally vested or applied within the 3 arms of government: the executive, judiciary, and the legislature, right? And on paper, it looks like a strict separation of powers, but in the reality, it is not strict. It is not entirely strict. It is codependent. As I said, I think last week, the judiciary need the police for their security, right? That's not independent. The police need the judiciary for prosecution of suspects, they arrest. You see? Parliament or the judiciary needs the legislature to pass their budget when they present it to them. Yet, so and also even the state needs the legislature to pass laws that are friendly or that can be enforced or that assist the government in carrying out, or the state in carrying out its functions. So it's not strict. But now when we talk about independence of the judiciary, which is provided for by Article 159, it is a cornerstone, and that's why it was given a separate article on its own, because that is what enables efficient and just administration of the law. It is so important because the judiciary is the only body or the only organ of the state that can bring order and bring fairness and justice to the citizens when the legislature exceeds its powers or the state exceeds its powers. In this case, the state is the executive. So when you look at this Masengeli issue, I will probably refer to Article 159 which says
no benefits or remuneration payable to or in respect of a judge during their tenure of office or after shall be varied to their disadvantage. Why? This is so as to enable the members, the judicial officers, to be independent, to make decisions not worrying about, my retirement. Because if it gets to a point where a judge thinks after retirement, for example, my salary might be reduced, or my security might be withdrawn, they will make decisions with fear.
Yes.
They will make decisions, bribery will be, amplified because someone is making money for their retirement.
Yeah.
No. So when it comes to independence of the judiciary, and in reference to Article 159.4, where they say the benefits shall not, in respect of the judge, shall not be withdrawn, one of the benefits is the security. Because judicial officers or judges handle sometimes high value cases where there's a lot at stake, where people are in a position to lose a lot. Lives are at risk. People are at, in the, what can I say, at risk of going to jail for a long time.
Yeah.
So I think doing that, withdrawing the security, was directly in contravention of Article 159.4.
Right. Now we find ourselves in a situation where there is violation of laws and the Constitution from the side of the police, right? And as you said there aptly, that it's a separation of powers, but also working, yes, kind of, collaborating in when it's necessary. And one of those ways in which that collaboration is effectful or is needed is when people are, subverting court summons, are not showing up, or they're not being sentenced. But now we have a situation where the IG has a sentence hanging on his head, he has summons hanging on his head, but the judiciary needs police officers to enforce that. So normally it will be if the judiciary if the courts were calling for my presence, is it okay? 3 times, 4 times they send police officers to ensure I am arrested. Now we have a situation where the IG himself, or the acting IG in this case, is faced with a situation where the judiciary will need help from his juniors, people who are under him to effect the same. We find ourselves in a very tricky situation in fulfilling the needs of the Constitution, but also overcoming the powers at play. How would we navigate a situation like this one?
I've always said, it's my view that enforcement of the Constitution or defense of the Constitution ideally should be straightforward. But we find that in our system of governance, without political goodwill, sometimes subversion of the Constitution is a normality. And that's an unfortunate position we find ourselves in. In foreign countries, let me put it that way, or Western democracies, it wouldn't have gotten to 7 or even 1. Say 1?
1, 2,
Yeah. But the AG will have...
Even Trump doesn't,
No. But
go for that long.
Our system is whereby we have not matured to that level where we still feel might is right. The Constitution is there, but might is right. Whoever controls the state machinery has the final say in whatever. That's why we never see any of these arrests being taken. We used to see the arbitrary Friday arrests, I've forgotten the name, during Uhuru's regime.
Yes, I forget the name too.
Yeah, I've forgotten the name.
The Friday arrests.
Uhuru. Someone was inside so that you spend the whole night, the whole weekend. So in this situation, the only way we will go past this is if the president gave his goodwill.
Okay.
I don't think even the CS has the powers on paper perfect, but can he enforce it? Some decisions in this country, we're very well aware, need to be taken by the president.
Right.
And looking at the political and the circumstances and the reasons for the arrest, they're all politically connected.
That's why the CJ will feel powerless at that point.
Exactly.
Knowing who the political godfather of the other person might be, it will get you to the front door na uachie constitution hapo kwenda hapo mbele constitution ya kusaidia Ojwang.
Sad.
It's a very sad situation, and that's why we are seeing Kenyans wanna celebrate the CJ finding herself in this position, wanna celebrate judges finding her. And this is a very dangerous situation we find ourselves in, where the citizens themselves now do not want to come to the aid of one arm of the government ikilemewa na the other, because now it's when we were crying about our issues, when we were saying there are protesters missing, there's abductions going on, the CJ was very scarce with her statements. Now with this new troubles with the IG and with the police force, Kenyans are celebrating rather than helping fix the situation.
I've heard Wakili Michael Oyaro say that even CS is not that powerful, except
on paper.
On papers. Let's talk about that.
CS Interior.
Kutoka upande wa Mount Kenya East kule juu. We have President of Supreme Court Martha Koome. Toka kwa side ya Meru, si ndio? We have CS Interior National Coordination from that same side. Sawa?
Neighbor wake.
So tushakubali ya kwamba President wa Supreme Court hana nguvu, ndio maana analia tukilia. Judge Lawrence alisema iwapo Masengeli will not avail himself in prison, the CS for Interior, Professor Kithure Kindiki, a professor of law, a professor that has taught a lot of lawyers in this country, kwa corridors of justice. Nasikia mkimsoma mnasemaga he did a good job. And he did. Tumemwona akirepresent watu hadi kama Ruto ICC. Right now he is the same person mwenye kwanza alifutwa alafu akarudishwa, meaning he is powerful. How are you powerful when you're not able to handle your junior? An acting junior. Wewe ndo mkubwa hapo hivyo, lakini huyu anakulemea.
So in a point to the failures of CS.
At that same point, we have 49 plus 12 from this other side, around 69 MPs who are saying that CS Kithure Kindiki is Mount Kenya kingpin. Let's talk about the previous Mount Kenya kingpins and why Professor Kithure Kindiki is not even fit to be a kingpin. We've had former president and the late President Mwai Kibaki as kingpin. He ended up being the president. We have former President Uhuru Kenyatta as kingpin. Sasawa. Right now we have a battle of kingpins. Kingpinship. But you won't tell me from presidents we are going to a CS who is not able to handle an acting IG who is proving to be a headache.
Do you think he's unable to handle him, or is allowing him?
He's allowing, and Mount Kenya people are saying that Mount Kenya MPs are saying that he is a kingpin. What kind of kingpin is that? What precedent will he set? It is now time. I've seen a lot of memes on X, on TikTok. Gen Zs wakimimic the current CS Professor Kithure Kindiki with a certain soprano voice. Sasawa. It's time then we see his manly side by dealing with this case once and for all.
Right. Definitely. There are a lot of cases which are in the corridors of justice, and from where I sit at, this is one of those ways to ensure that hizo kesi hazishughulikiwi vizuri. I might be speaking as an outsider and Michael is like, hey, wewe.
Hivyo ndivyo wabunge na MCA
ndani zaidi.
Ati tuliingia tukijua tutafanya, tunaingia tunapata.
Unaambiwa vitu si venye wewe unafikiria hapa nje. Yeah. But looking at recently we had a reassignment of the police officers at Kware dam site. Alafu shortly after suspect akatoroka kutoka police station, which was very curious. Saizi tumeona Chief Justice what is his name? Mugambi. Justice Mugambi. Security imekuwa withdrawn. Waende VIP courses just right around the time when there is a case involving the acting IG and the whole stuff that is happening. We had the Shakahola case whose number of charges have been reduced from, I don't know what number it was, to just a few, and it seems that he might collapse on his knees. This points to a very sinister direction. Ukiongeza Ojwang Mariam akisema mambo ya who's supposed to be kingpin and which regions that CS comes from. Tutaweza kuji-untie from this kind of situation, Michael, where now at that point we have to leave it to the president. The Fridays that you were saying were called Kamata.
Yeah.
Yes,
sure,
Kamata. Kama if the fish is rotten from the head, na sisi tuko hapa katikati tunasema wacha tungoje kichwa itusaidie. Hii sipo tusaidia. In what ways can we either use the law, as citizens? When I said, citizens are celebrating instead of helping the CJ, my producer was asking, tumsaidia aje? So what kind of help can we offer the CJ? Maybe just to ask generally, what kind of help can we offer in this situation, or who can offer help in this situation, rather than waiting on the president whose wars are also building day in, day out?
I was thinking about this issue, just in my own thoughts, and I thought if the citizens were able to mobilize, Justice Lawrence Mugambi's security withdrawn, I just imagined the situation where the citizens will be like, hey, where does he stay? Let's go and work with him. Yeah. I just imagined a situation like, let's work with him to court.
Goes to the court.
And in the evening, let's take him back. That crowd will send a message. I was just having that wishful thinking.
That's quite something. A few months ago, we wouldn't have imagined the kind of activities that have taken place between June 25th and now. So not far off, you'd never know.
Because I brought that closer to when they wanted to arrest Baba some years ago, and people went and camped at his place.
Yes.
The people are now protecting you. So I thought of that.
Yeah.
But that aside, as you know, as a lawyer, you always have to think of solutions. We can always cry, but what are the solutions? At least so that we can get to a point where I said, okay, we did whatever we could do. Enforcement or the executive did not play its role. So there's been talk, and I do like it, or I do support it. Yeah, filing a petition based on the verdict, on the sentence, the conviction, that the IG is held unsuitable to hold public office. That's because we can't use force. We can't arrest him by force. We can't effect citizens' arrest as much as it is given for. But I think the way forward now will be filing a petition to find him unfit for holding public office. Because again,
how is he in office even with, all this happening?
He's acting.
Whether acting or not. Whether acting or not.
Now, if he's found unfit to hold office, then we can start talking about the legality of any of his actions. Can he prosecute? Can he institute? What happens when it goes to court?
Yeah.
He was found unfit to hold public office. Does he have the integrity? The national values, that is Article 10 of the Constitution, principles of governance. Those are the things we should be looking at to declare him unfit to hold public office. And that will definitely run roughshod over his future. So many things. But whether that is to be done and to what extent, and he still has some time to remedy his conviction, to overturn or to come and explain to the court up to Friday, is what we will see.
Right.
Yeah.
George Banks says Masengeri has absolutely no credibility to lecture any Kenyan on security matters. He's a criminal and should be behind bars serving his sentence, not parading around some sort of authority. This entire statement is nothing but hot air. That's George Banks giving his opinion pale on Twitter. Mbiti Edwin asema, you can twist, make turns, but cannot convince or fool all of us. Why reassign the officers of this particular person at this time? Who else are you going to reassign next? Can we get a list of officers who are scheduled for this VIP security training and where they have been reassigned from? Yeah, so that it's not just the case of Masengeli. The Law Society of Kenya is also doing some great work in keeping people in check. Shout out to the LSK president Faith Odhiambo. Wanasema it was during her tenure that even Vibes Cartel saw freedom. So shout out to
she has done so much.
She's done so much in such a short time. But here's a statement from the Law Society of Kenya that you can read on their Twitter pages, and I'm sure on other social platforms as well, on the withdrawal of the security of Honorable Justice Mr. Lawrence Mugambi. I was trying to get the cases of Mr. Lawrence Mugambi from, Justice Mugambi from back then to see if there's maybe something. Mali ameguza waya mahali before. John, do you think maybe iko mahali aliguza mtu?
Kuguza ameguza waya. First of all, he's also a Meru.
Oh wow! You've been pointing out patterns here as I imagined before.
Cases that you handle as a judge can make or break you. Sasa utapata mtu kama vile former CJ Willy Mutunga, when yeye aliona kuna kuja election petitions itakuja na hataweza kuhandle, he remembered that it is a responsibility, an obligation of every Kenyan to uphold, respect, and defend the Constitution. At a point that you, as a state officer or a leader, feels it's so much hard for you to do those three things, you are supposed to resign. There are a lot of people in this country that can occupy these offices. Sasa, tuache kufanya hii kitu ikae show ya Wameru ama watu wa Mount Kenya East. That tuko na CJ Martha Koome analilia watoto wake hapa chini, Justice Mugambi, lakini hizi kesi zinamhusu nani? CS wa kutoka kwao bado. Mwenye saa hizi yako kwa kingship battles. Ako na hadi wabunge wake. That he is the direct representative between Mount Kenya and the president. Hata yeye anafaa kuresign. So, nafaa kwanza CJ Martha Koome aende nyumbani. Mapema ndio best. Mtu wa pili.
So we're not here to defend her, but also to let her know that song.
No, we are talking about solution. Wakili tumesema you deal with solutions.
Yes.
We're giving out solutions.
Let's go.
Sawa. Solution number 1. Martha Koome, please resign. We have better people who can cry. Heri hata tuende huko side za Luoni Western to hire professional mourners. They will do a better job than she's doing. As a matter of fact, she does not watch Kenya news. So maybe hata ajui mambo mengi yanaendelea hii nchi. She needs to go. So the CS,
summary she needs to go.
The CS for Interior National Coordination, Professor Kithure Kindiki. Yeye ni mtu amesoma na kuelewa hii katiba. Lakini amekubali uongozi wa kisiasa umleweshe. Asikubali hii kuwe ndo legacy yake. At a time ashaonyesha interest za kuwa kingpin wa Mount Kenya. As a man, and what I would do, I would be bold and honest and tell my fellow Kenyans that it is time I resign. Sasa wacha nipewe kitu kingine inatuite bridge to president. Tuone kama kuna kitu nitafanya rather than be a CS for National Interior Coordination and my juniors who are acting can still continue to butcher the Constitution, be appearing on national and mainstream headlines like Daily Nation, rogue police boss. He is even a police boss under my watch.
Right.
We do those two things.
We have made a step ahead.
Yes.
I'm being reminded by Kenyans hapa about previous cases zenye Mugambi Justice amekuwa akishughulikia. Moja ambayo alishughulikia kubwa sana ni ile ambayo ileta military presence during the June protests. During that unrest. So remember LSK challenged that decision to bring the military on the streets to enforce peace. It was in fact Justice Mugambi himself who saved the snake. Wanasema you save the snake leo itakuuma siku nyingine. Hiyo siku itakuuma.
So he's why jamaa wa Shaka Hola aliwaambia guys,
it will leak you
whatever you're playing with.
Itawaramba, it will reek you. Yeah, and it has reeked us. So here in June, Faith Odhiambo, and again, shout out to the LSK president, who at this time was the one who filed a petition at the High Court in front of Justice Lawrence Mugambi himself, akiwaambia there's no need for deployment of this military to the people during this protest. Lakini Lawrence Mugambi says to preserve peace, we have to go on with the deployment. Now he is in trouble, and it is Faith Odhiambo herself who's still back to help out. So it's good to see that she has no grudge from back then. So those are the solutions according to my panelist hapa. Tumeambiwa na Michael Oyaro kwamba we file a petition or we wait on the petition that the necessary people in the legal system are working on. Pia ukitaka msindikize Justice nani ndo akumbushwe kwamba we are peaceful citizens, we don't need the military on the streets, but yes, hopefully that is resolved.
There is a statement that came out.
Yeah,
I saw it in our WhatsApp groups last night, where they said they were replaced. The two were recalled,
reassigned.
They were called for training.
Yes.
Then they were replaced. So I think he probably has bodyguards now, if I'm not wrong.
There's a difference between having a bodyguard and having spies.
And having spies.
Yeah.
So you're saying the replacement isn't really
those are spies.
Okay. And this statement was released at 11:50.
You have forgotten that the same judge before giving the verdict alikuwa shasema that wale ambao niko na wao wanaulizia maswali mengi sana yenye ni personal sana kunihusu. So walipoona hao hawawezi wakawaondoa. Sawa. Since the judge is entitled to the bodyguard and the driver, wataweka nani?
Wataweka mtu anataka waweke.
Sinema Masengeli anaweka. Ataweka mwenye anataka.
Tumfuate huyo jamaa.
Between kurudisha security na kuweka spies.
Good.
And the statement was released at 11:48 p.m. What's with the Kenyan government and doing things usiku? I was going to
it's supposed to be a 24-hour
from the office of the government spokesperson ambaye ndio anapenda sana kufanya live streams usiku. Ministry of Education releasing statements at 2 a.m., 3 a.m. This is NPS releasing statements at 11:48 p.m. You wonder. Right, more comments as we move on to the next story there. That's a rogue boss, right? A rogue police boss. That's the Daily Nation. I think it wins the headline for me this morning. That's a really apt story and a very on-point headline there. Before we move to what the Standard has, and then Michael will let us know what the Standard has, let me shout out a few people. Bright Geda saying good morning, enjoying the show from Kisumu. Shout out to Grace. Grace is the lady who runs our social media here. Shout out to Ngure, our producer, and shout out to Okenye, who is myself, and Boni, our programs controller at KUTV. Ole Runke TV anasema Masengeli to committee and his brother Koome too. Masengeli to committee. Amesema mimi nadhani hata ni transfer ya football like Rooney to Manu.
Fabrizio.
Masengeli to committee, here we go. Confirmed. And his brother Koome too. Thank you. Jilo Mamu, great insights huku. Our country is in an insane state. Yes, clearly these are unprecedented happenings. Paul Muinde, truth be told, enjoying the show from Kiambu. Gadhoni, leo ni kama nimechelewa, but ukweli isemwe. Lazima isemwe. Tuned in and enjoying. Dennis Munyi, Inspector Jeuri anayekaidi sheria anazotaka raia wazitii. Dennis Munyi tuned in akiwa Roysambu. Anasema yani Inspector Jeuri anakaidi sheria anazotaka raia wazitii. Wewe onekana protest ukisimama pale Basilica na flag hivi, you will go disappearing for a couple of days. The Standard, Michael.
In the Standard we have of course defense of justice. The headline is Chief Justice and IG Koome with the photos there juxtaposed, definitely talking about what we've talked before.
Right.
Then
so those are two people opposite sides.
Yeah, exactly.
Normally what we have there is Raila on one side and Ruto.
By the way, that's normally
we are tuna devolve hadi war from presidency all the way down.
We have a blame fake news. Ruto says of protests. We also have no room for error for Varsity Fees new team. I think that's more relevant here.
Yes, we've already handled the spat between the IG and judiciary. So 139.
Now, the Daily Nation.
Yes.
On page 12, we are talking about murders and agonies in landowners' battle for 54 billion Eastlands land. Time and again, we've talked about Eastlands. Kasama, I want us to connect this with the Daily Nation again on page 10, talking about 634 billion shillings Adani Power Lines deal signals costly electricity.
Yes.
Adani hapo ndani, si ndio? Now skiza. It's Eastlands, mashida yenye yako pale hivyo hayako hapo hivyo juu tu yametokea. It's by design.
Manufactured problems.
Every day utaona mall imetokea Eastlands. Pale Isili pia iko side za Eastlands. In fact, it's the gateway, ndo mlango kutoka CBD kuingia Islando. Sawa. Every now and then utasikia largest mall in East and Central Africa. Na kaka ingine mall. Sawa. What else do we have in Eastlands? We have Moi Air Base. Moi Air Base ni ya ndege za kijeshi. Sawa. Adani walikuwa wamesema hakuna kampuni ya ndege ama airline itawahi tengenezwa as long as wako ndani wondo kusema around Nairobi. Those kilometers zote zinatoka nje na metropolitan Toyota uwezi, si ndio? Now, kuna another airbase in Eastlands na ni katikati ya mahali kuna nini? Residents. So how do we get this airbase out of Nairobi ndo waendelee kupiga biashara na watu wanyakue zaidi? Kitu cha kwanza, gavana wa Nairobi Johnson Sakaja na Rais Ruto wakasema huku Nairobi watu ni wengi sana na tunahitaji nyumba kubwa. Tumewaalao mpandishe up to 30 floors. Now, mahali kuna airport, kuna mahali height za nyumba zifai kufika, si ndio? Yes. But tumesema umealao waingie, si ndio? So, itafika mahali tuanze kuulizana maswali kama ya Ferdinand Waitito baba yao mwenye asharudi kwa siasa. That ni gani rahisi kutoa? Ni maji ya mto ama ni nyumba?
Tusongeze maji.
Ni gani tutasongesha, unaona? So wataanza kusema toa hii Moi Airbase hapo ipeleke na Nyuki, kuna a lot of land, ama peleka Isiolo ama Marsabit. Sawa? Ni nani watachukua hiyo land? Hilo ni swali Mkenya anafaa jiulize. Sawa?
Adani.
As that is happening, Adani bila deni za ndani kwa ndani amepewa tenda ingine yenye wanafaa kuinject 1.3 billion eti wanatuongezea stima na connection day.
That's actually 1.3 billion dollars. Yes, let's ensure.
So wanasema wataleta 634 billion juu ya power lines kutengeneza
420 kilometers.
Imagine. But hii itafanya hadi cost iongezeke.
Yes, kwa sababu
sio the only thing wamefanya. When was public participation done on this new Adani deal? Ndo ikuwe Adani wao ndo watapata. Yet saa hiyo bado wako na airport yetu. Are we a province of India?
It seems, yeah.
We need
so you're pointing to speculations that this land in Eastlands.
Solution siku hizi ni kama ni Adani. Kuna wakati tulikuwa tunaimba ni nani anajua shida zetu? Ni hustler. Sasa hizi ni kama mwenye anajua shida zetu zote ni Adani. Adani kwa stima, Adani kwa airports, Adani kesho tutamsikia wapi? Na sasa Adani kule Swiss. Adani kule Swiss, their 42 billion account has been frozen. Due to fraud. So it's clear mahali kwa country nyingine Adani are frauds. But in Kenya, according to President Ruto and now Pio Wandai, tuko shamba la wanyama, believe that Adani is our savior.
Right, so you see, let me bring up to speed the people who are on wenye bado hawajaelewa ni nini inaendelea hapo. When I started earlier, nili point in my introduction that, a couple of nationwide blackouts later. Before last year, I have not in the few years ambazo nimeishi na mention hapa kwa isho, I have not experienced a nationwide blackout ever. Like hakuna siku nikiwa niko Kisii stima ipotea huko na mtu wako Nairobi ananiambia stima pia ipotea.
Mara ya mwisho uliipokea 2007 na ilikuwa a matter of national interest.
Yeah, it needed Mwai Kibaki to become president. That was necessary, a political move. But now, later, last year, I experienced the first blackout. It wasn't even last year, it was in 2021 when we had a monkey interrupt power lines in somewhere here in Eastlands still. Yeah. And then last year we had one very serious blackout. This year we've had two very major nationwide blackouts. And then suddenly we have Adani who will help in fixing those very blackouts by installing power lines and fixing 422 kilometers that are going to cost them 1.3 billion. The contract is 1.3 billion USD, but in the next 30 years, they're supposed to raise 650 billion, which they must get from Kenyans through taxations and higher bills. So kwa hiyo list yako ya tokens, mali ulikuwa unaona taxes, that's going to add on top of it, maybe a Adani tax or something to ensure they recoup back their money. There's something very sinister that is happening there, and that's a triple P agreement, that is public-private partnership between Adani, a subsidiary of the African Development Bank, and as well as the Kenya Electricity Transmission Company, KETRACO. Any confidence in the latest helper of our issues, Michael? Nasema pale savior wetu ilimetoka Hustler, sasa tuko ndani ya Adani.
You know, the fact that first of all, public procurement laws were not followed.
Yes.
Already paints a dark picture. Number two, the reputation of Adani abroad in the Western countries is already spoiled. Yes. The fact that even, is it 40 billion? 42 billion Kenyan shillings? Was it $40 million?
Yeah.
Yeah, was frozen. I think it was equivalent to 300 and something billion Kenyan shillings. That already tells you or paints a picture of who we are dealing with. Leave alone the protests that I think if you watch social media, you've seen protests in India regarding the same company.
Yes.
This already points a dark picture. The fact that they single-sourced, they did not do open bidding, and the reasons given were that it will take a long time to get someone else. You know the reasons given by Chirchir
yes.
in Parliament last week don't make sense at all.
Yeah.
He has no chance.
You know, it's open.
It will have taken a long time, and that no one else has presented themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
Adani's. Yeah.
Like how many companies exist in this world or will not want to take up this deal? Yes. That's why I was saying, they say, Morara was saying, wizi bila kazi. I'll say Chirchir is wongo bila ibu.
Yeah, he just says it.
Unasema, how do you just lie confidently, to the MPs? And we all know these are lies.
Yes.
So I think so far there's a petition filed and orders were granted by the court stopping the proceeding, the airport tender from proceeding until the case is heard and determined.
Yes.
I hope the government follows this because they should. No, the process needs to be transparent. The public needs to know through court proceedings. Was this, what are the reasons given? They need to be tested on the scales of justice. What are the reasons given for single sourcing genuine? Could other companies not have been given, or will it, what effect or what injustice or what damages will the government or the public suffer if it was put up to open tendering? So I think there's a lot to be desired in this deal. Of course, this being Kenya, we know there are definitely some financial, political interests, and let's look forward to how this moves on. But I think, yeah.
The Energy Ministry is under fire at the moment, given also that landing costs for oil have reduced at the port, but EPRA still publishes the same charges from last month. So what you were paying for fuel last month is the same thing that you're going to pay for fuel this month. However, once Adani takes over and this deal is signed, most of this amount of $4.92 billion, which translates to 634 billion Kenyan shillings, will be raised through you in electricity costs. So you will see it in your pumps, you will see it in the cost of electricity. So it's important that you keep track of this. And petitions, as Michael keeps reminding us, we have seen the fruits of petitions recently. We have seen the fruits of public participation, people sending in their submissions, you know, when it comes to bills which are being tabled in parliament. So it's important that also more is done on this. The deal is yet to be signed, but vile Opiyo Wandayi alikuwa naongea jana, it seems, na vile Chirchir alikuwa nasema pia in parliament, in media appearances, seems that this is a done deal and it's a done deal. Yeah?
It has said it's the wording on the document is like it's already a done deal.
It's already a done deal.
Yeah, it's not a proposal, it's
As
more
such.
of a done deal.
Yeah. Wow. So we'll see who is done at the end of these deals, whether it's Adani or it is us. Gen Z protests, Treasury cuts tax targets by 334 billion. Read more of what Cabinet Secretary John Mbadi is also saying here about the next financial year, ambayo reduce expenditure ambayo itatumika. Scorecard ya president, when it comes to page 3, Ruto's development spending falls below the threshold. The constitution and the law provides that development expenditure ikuwe at 30%. Yani 30%. Kwa ile pesa yote mko nayo na ile yote mnaiba, tumia 30% kwa development. For 2 years in a row, President William Ruto's government has hit 25% only, which means the priority on development isn't as much as the priority on salaries and other remunerations which are there. So you can read for yourself on the radar section of page 3 of the Business Daily, or do we call it radar? Na inaka radar ni chafu sana. So that's the Business Daily. Ojong, I'm told we have 5 minutes. So if there's something I've left, it's time for us to do one story each.
Good.
And close it.
Good.
Yeah.
Manchester United won against Southampton 3-0. Nataka nirudi hapa sasa.
Where is Adani? How does Adani come in?
Hiyo ni sports na nimemaliza. So, goja now about the scorecard.
Yes.
The president's scorecard, Ruto at 2 years is below 25%. Sidhani hata imefika. You talked about Governor Sakaja raising revenue from 9 to 12.
Yes, ikifika round yangu nitasoma.
Si ndio? Now, ningetaka uisome, nataka kuoanisha hiyo. Nataka kuoanisha hiyo on the scorecard.
14 governors grew on revenues. Governor Sakaja has grown Nairobi's revenue from 9.23 billion to 12.54 billion. The most improved counties in their own source revenue, yani wali collect revenue ndani kivyao wakairaise, ya. Homa Bay ilikuwa top, wali grow by 716%, 716%, from 104 million revenue at 2022, 2024 1.2 billion. Wao ndio leading.
Now, the scorecard and what the truth is. Nairobi Governor Sakaja has done well on revenue collection. But where does that revenue go to?
That's the question.
That is the main question.
Okay.
On Madaraka Day, this goes to the people of Roysambu. On Madaraka Day, this year, the area MCA, Dr. Clement Kamaro for Kahawa West in Roysambu, said on camera, in fact, he looked at me when he said this.
It was on public domain.
They are going to ensure that soon as possible, watatengeneza barabara yenye ina connect Thika Superhighway to the northern bypass through Kenyatta University, KM, Kiwanja Secondary, Kiwanja Polytechnic, Kiwanja Primary, and saizi kuna hadi international school hapo hivyo to the northern bypass. Hiyo ilikuwa ni a matter of urgency. After watu hadi wamefanya maandamano juu ya poor state of hiyo barabara.
Yes.
Nilikuwa naongea kuhusu venye hawajafanya anything. Wakasema wamekuja wamemwaga mchanga. That did harm than good. Sasa scorecard, hiyo barabara ni ya national government. Mtu ambaye ako na sole responsibility ni MP Mheshimiwa Kamande Muafrika. Nimemuita mheshimiwa. Lakini huko Kiwanja wanalia wakiuliza kwani MP ni nani? Unasikia mpaka MCA juu ya venye hiyo barabara imesumbua watu, wanasema watafanya combined effort. Now the same area MP is saying bado there's nothing that can be done until 2025.
Wow.
Na bado watu wanaimba that President Ruto listens. We've been doing involve Ruto juu ya mambo ya Roysambu and he has done absolutely nothing. Hata hatujaimsikia. Gavana wa Nairobi atakuja Kiwanja Secondary School, watakuja na mbunge wa Roysambu, watapitia barabara gani? Security, walisema ya kwamba wanaeka ya comrades and students of Kenyatta University a 30 meters high mast security floodlights in KM and Kiwanja 2. Hakuna yenye imewahi ekwa. Juzi kumekuwa na freshers bash. Watoto wameumia juu hawaoni. Sawa? Scorecard kwa mbunge wetu, tutakuwa tunaingia ground. Scorecard kwa MCA wote watano wa Roysambu, tutaingia ground, alafu sisi tutaleta. Ya wamesema ya Ruto 25, Wakenya wataamua ya huko ni ngapi.
Kweli, angalia kama gavana wako ameongeza pesa, kwa sababu Ojwang hafurahi that governor wa Nairobi County ameongeza revenue, lakini hiyo revenue haifiki kwa ground. I see my governor also, Simba Arati, ali boost revenue collection from 400 million in 2022 to 1.18 billion. Arati, I ask, where is the money? That's the big question. Michael, this is your turn to either bring up something we've left and plus
I'll talk about the jobs.
Okay.
Kenyan Germany jobs.
Oh, the diplomatic.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, our president told us that he had secured 250,000 jobs for Kenyans. Germans, the government or representatives stated that there was no agreement on the exact number of jobs. I think the president should try to be honest for once.
And we wonder why Churchill can lie without aibu.
For real, now we get where this is coming from. I think that was so shameful.
Yes.
You know, it was really embarrassing for the president to be countered with such a statement, not, from the government itself.
Yeah.
I don't know what the president thinks when he openly lies. I think it's a system that has worked for him, but not now.
Yes.
Yeah, and number two, I would like to talk about civic education. I'm so happy with the work that Morara is doing and other people, but my plea is that let's take this out of Nairobi. Not everyone is on TikTok. There are people out there in Western, in the interior and whatever. They cannot access Facebook, TikTok and whatever. They need people on the ground.
Yeah.
So if these people can collaborate with other people who are enlightened there, please let it be done. Because this is the reason why even the president, after the demonstrations, hakukuja Nairobi. He knew here people are enlightened and he has never come. Ameenda mashinani. And those people are the majority when it comes to voting.
Just use his same tactic.
Nairobi is just a minority.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Asante sana, Michael. I'll close it at this point. It's 9:59 a.m. just in time for me to do my final remarks. Thank you for joining us here on an exciting show of Biashara Tuesday. That is Ojwang Mariam. Catch him next week Monday on Art and Culture. This is Michael Oyaro, a lawyer, legal representative for you, and you can catch him here on political discussions. So reach out to him even outside of the show. He will be able to help you anywhere that you're stuck when it comes to legal matters. Nyuma ya Business Daily, last word comes from Peter Drucker, Austrian-American management consultant, educator, and author. He says, business has only two functions, marketing and innovation. Business has only two functions, marketing and innovation. Think about that when you were doing your business this week. But from me to you, it's grateful that I was able to do this from 7 a.m. to this point. My name is Richard Okenye. Across all social platforms, find me at Richard_Okenye, and the station as well at KUTV Kenya. Giving you my last word here. No matter how loud the goat is, it does not prevent the farmer from taking it to the market. See you around.
Kuzali mwezi moja na mzee